What is going on, guys? Welcome to our first ever podcast. This is the Gamer Show. This is Charlie, and I'm here with Mitchell.
How are we going, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between?
We hope we're all going good. This is our first episode of the Gamer Show, where we talk about the latest stuff in gaming, our thoughts and opinions on different various things in the gaming world, and where we take questions from our community every now and then, and share our thoughts on different things. So this week we're looking at the future of console gaming, so there's no other better time to be talking about it. With the Xbox Series X coming out, or at the point of this release probably it's already out, and the PS5 out this week as well, we thought no better time to start a podcast and talk about the future of console gaming. So first of all, if you haven't met me before, my name is Charlie. I help run NeoAir, the gaming portal. Basically, we play games with our community. I play a lot of first-person shooters. That's kind of my forte. Games like Rainbow Six Siege and Destiny and things like that, and a lot of story-driven games as well. So I play like Spider-Man and Uncharted and basically a lot of story-driven games. What about you, Mitch?
Well, obviously I'm Mitch, and you're modest Charlie. You do run NeoAir. Charlie does most of our content at NeoAir, and I like to play multiplayer games. Usually I play a hell of a lot of online games, so I have a dedicated COD squad, you could call them. We play through all the quads, lots of multiplayer, try and do ranked stuff as well. I also play a lot of MMORPGs, currently playing Neverwinter with some of our fellow Neoanes through our Discord server, and also trying to build the website for NeoAir. So that's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, I try and be modest, but yeah, I do a fair bit, I have to admit.
just everything.
When I'm not...
Everything that gets posted.
I'm pretty much making a lot of content. I post a lot of things on Facebook for the gaming news. I actually lead the social media part, and
Except Discord. Discord is my realm.
Discord's Mitch's thing.
Don't you touch it.
And I do gaming news every single week on our YouTube channel, so you can find that over at our YouTube. Self-plug there.
Which is actually very in-depth and very good. I do enjoy watching the news every week. Keeps me up to date, at least, because I suck at being in the know with current content, being, PC Master Race and all.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. If you go to our Facebook page as well, it's not just gaming news. We do talk about entertainment stuff as well, so TV shows, movies, things like that as well. But a bit of enough of the self-promotion there, but...
I suppose. That's fair. So, what are we talking about this week, Charlie?
So this week I thought we would have a little good old chat about the future of console gaming. So all the new stuff that's happening this week with Xbox Series X and PS5 and all that, I thought it'd be cool when we have a little discussion about what we think would make them successful, what things we are looking forward to with this new generation, and what our console choices. Start the console war flames a little. But I suppose we'll start off with the first topic that we wanted to talk about is what games are we looking forward to in the next generation. Quite a big list of games coming out that are even just at launch or even later on in the life cycle that we know about. I'm personally looking forward to Dying Light 2 if that ever comes out.
There's a big if there, dude.
Yeah, that game's been postponed so many times.
It's like Star Wars games these days, man.
Yeah.
So many of them keep getting cancelled, and then we're rebooting it. Then that gets shut down, and it's like all those games. I find that I struggle with putting my hopes in games now. And I try not to look too far into the future.
Yeah.
Because you keep getting let down, man. Like, all the politics and money behind it all. It seems that, with companies buying out other companies, we've got, Bethesda getting bought, we've got, everybody getting bought out. I really have to temper myself with temper my anticipation for games, because I'm worried that the games that I loved in the past might go in a different direction now that certain companies have been bought out.
Yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Particularly one of the biggest stories this year with Microsoft buying out Bethesda kind of makes you get a little bit concerned about what's next on Microsoft's target, or what's next for another company to buy it, or a beloved franchise. Uh,
Yeah, exactly. Like I've loved the Bethesda franchise for a long time. I've played pretty much all of their games, even bought anthologies for different game groups that allowed me to play games back from before I was even a gamer from them. So it's kind of one of those things where you sit on the fence and you go, well, they've just been bought out by a mega corporation like Microsoft. Is that going to change the way the games that we love get played, and in the direction in which they're marketed? For instance, loot boxes and unlockables only through pay screens and things like that we hadn't really seen before.
I think it's a bit of a...
I don't know. That makes me nervous.
It's a bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, it's kind of like... at the same time, like, they could implement things like that. At the same time, though, Microsoft seems to be pushing all for the gamers at the moment, so putting a lot of things on Game Pass, things like that. I could imagine Microsoft delving more into streaming-like services, basically becoming like the Netflix of gaming, pretty much.
Yeah.
And, well, I can see them... It kind of double-edged, because you can always have it on Game Pass, so you never have to pay for it, but you're locked into subscription, which means you might miss out on certain things, because they will cycle things out eventually.
Yeah. I was about to say they do cycle things through Game Pass, but in that regard, of Microsoft having Game Pass and the amount of games that Game Pass does have, is great. I find myself always looking through Game Pass, seeing what else is new and what's up. For download and playability on my PC. So it's been great for that. I think that's probably, and going back to the new gen consoles, I find myself struggling to figure out why I would buy an Xbox because of Game Pass.
Yeah, and I think that's once again a double-edged sword for Microsoft, because having an Xbox that comes out and then finding out that most of the games, or in fact nearly all the games for Xbox Series X, is all going to be available on PC anyway. So for people like me and you, where we have really high-end gaming PCs and Game Pass is available on PC, you kind of can't help but wonder, what's the point of getting an Xbox when I can just play it on PC anyway?
Yeah, I think that does make a big difference. Like when you think about, when you mentioned that we do have high-end gaming PCs, we've invested in that infrastructure for ourselves to enjoy our games and do all the things that we do. And I feel like that might be the tipping point there, because I keep forgetting that there's such a large market for consoles because of parents buying their kids under $1,000 gaming rig that they attach to their TV, that's no issues, no need to worry about anything else. So, or monitors, they can plug it into a TV they've already got. So, maybe that's really it. Maybe it's like, well, Microsoft's like, well, for all the gamers who are on PC already, let's introduce them into the world of everything that is Xbox, and we'll keep the amount of money coming from consoles to the people that can't afford, the silly amounts of money that we spend.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you're right there. I kind of feel like, we're in that odd niche of people that are like, can afford to have a, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 computer or whatever, however much ridiculous amount of money to spend on a PC that'll last us X amount of years. But there is
that's the thing too, isn't it? It's like we spend this amount of money, and then 3 years down the track there'll be the newest, greatest pieces that we then need to upgrade our system with. Whereas console gamers, yeah, sure, there's the S's and the next gens and everything like that, but they're still under $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
So over a lifetime, you just buy consoles, you're still still not spending the. So yeah, on that point, then yeah, I suppose you're right. But I suppose back to the games that we're looking forward to. I'm really pumped for some of the stuff coming out. We got Valhalla tomorrow?
Yeah, at the time we're recording, Assassin's Creed Valhalla drops tomorrow, which is pretty exciting. It looks pretty dope. If it's anything like Odyssey, it's going to be pretty good. I would like to hope so.
I from the stuff that I've watched online and from people's reviews so far of the game and everything that it entails, I am pumped. It looks looks sick, dude. Looks sick.
Assassin's Creed is one of those franchises where it's kind of love to hate, kind of a hate and love relationship for me, mainly because, you know, I played Assassin's Creed 1, finished it. It was an alright game, wasn't super into it. Assassin's Creed 2 was pretty dope, it was pretty good. And then, you know, the spin-offs, you know, Brotherhood and Revelations was pretty good. Assassin's Creed 3 came out. I played a little bit of it, but just took too long to get into, so I didn't really continue with it.
Which one was the one with where you were a pirate? Was that
that's
3
4,
or
Black
4?
Flag.
4. That was my. So I always found that games like Assassin's Creed, what else? Uncharted, you know, all those, you unlock an area by climbing a tower and then you do the same thing over and over again, capture bases, too repetitive for me. But Black Flag for me gave me a breath of fresh air in that franchise.
Yeah, I seem to hear that a lot from a lot of people. Like, a lot of people really love Black Flag. I personally never played it because at that point I had burnout from Assassin's Creed and I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this franchise for now.
Yeah. I tell you what, dude, I literally spent, like, you know, I played the game, but I probably spent more time sailing around on the boat learning the sea shanty songs that they were singing that I did probably sinking into missions, if I'm honest. Like,
yeah,
that was just, it was, I don't know, there's something about that grabbed me that I really ran with. But I can understand being burnt out completely from that franchise for sure. So I'm hoping Valhalla's something along Black Flag lines. Otherwise,
well, then like just to me, it seemed like it was very repetitive. Like from all the games that I've seen before, it was simply like, let's climb this highest point in the map. Let's synchronize it. Let's go stab this person. Let's try not get found by the found out by the Templars. Rinse, repeat. That's what it felt like to me after a while.
Yeah, definitely, and that's definitely what that game genre is, for sure. And I think each game is just set in a different time with a different storyline. You've got to envelop yourself in that storyline to really, really enjoy the game. If you look at the dynamics of a lot of games, then you'll find that they all follow that kind of same continual, you know, climb this, shoot that, capture this base, that unlocks these people, level up this stuff to unlock more guns, you know, that kind of stuff, and then at the end you verse a boss. You know, so there is always that, but yeah, I think it's about getting into the storyline, and I think Valhalla's gonna be a cool game, but you would wonder whether or not it would have been better if that had been released alongside Vikings, the TV show. I feel like there would have been more of a hype for it alongside that TV series, because I find that kind of stuff goes hand in hand. You see games follow TV trends and TV trends follow game trends and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's very true. And you can see kind of like the rise of, like, you know, shows like Altered Carbon and things like that on Netflix where it's all like sci-fi futuristic, and kind of see there's a bit of a rise there ever since like games like Cyberpunk and futuristic games that have come out in the last few years, like Call of Duty, for example, went all futuristic for a while, and that you're starting to see TV trends jumping on that kind of similar thing.
Definitely. It's and that Cyberpunk is another one I'm super excited. I think
everyone's excited for it, and we can only hope that it does come out this year. But it's
to be honest with you, I'm on the side of I would rather a game get it right and release it to me than give it to me and have game breaking bugs. I'm not worried. I don't expect games to give me a complete feel of completedness at launch because I'm so used to playing games that are alphas and betas, and I'm playing bloody Star Citizen still, and that's in alpha still.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that, but don't give me game breaking bugs on a AAA game. Yeah. That's all I ask for.
I feel the same too. You're finding in the last few years, games are getting delayed more and more often, which I'm kind of in the same boat too. I really don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think it's a good thing. That just means games companies are willing to spend extra dollars and time and all that to put more quality control into their work. And I think you're starting to find that gamers are starting to appreciate that more rather than, them jumping on a day one on their console, go to play a game, then having to download a 50 gigabyte patch and update just so before they can even play the game.
Yeah, which they have actually come out and said there will be an update day one, which is fair enough. These days you can't really buy a disc and expect it all to be on there and downloaded and everything perfect.
Yeah, you kind of get that, particularly with Cyberpunk's position too, because the game was actually gold. It was actually manufactured. Discs were ready to roll out and everything, and then they decided, something needs a little bit more tweaking. Sorry, we're gonna have to put on hold for a sec so we can create this update, and then the game comes out, you download this massive update, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works.
Yeah, I feel like there's a big pushback because of the new consoles coming, as well as look at this year. This year has been horrible for industries of all types, and you couldn't think that TV and gaming and the entertainment industry in general wouldn't take a hit because of what's happening with the world and the coronavirus and everything like that. So I think people and their gaming and everything, they need a bit of slack. There's been a lot of hatred over it, but they need slack. Plus, these are the guys who brought out The Witcher. Witcher 3. Guys, whoa, what the hell? That game was amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people seem to forget. Is this isn't a company that's just putting out rubbish title annually with no regard to the gaming community and just, reskinning things and going, look, it's a new game, but even though it's the same thing as last year, EA. Shots fired.
Hatred.
But yeah, no, this is a company that, they're an independent studio that started with literally a couple posters and one chair at the E3 Expo back in 2008 or whatever it was. That, slowly grew over time because their ambition and their passion for particular franchises just grew. And, it also helps, I guess, they already have the lore from old Tales and tabletop games. But the point is they took something they were passionate
and the books.
They took something they were passionate about. They put a lot of work and time and effort into it to release it. They gave you free DLC for most of the previous games.
Yeah, which was fucking mad.
And these DLCs, let alone, were not here's a cool skin or anything. These were whole new fucking maps.
No, they were.
But
yeah, whole new quest chains, everything, dude. It was that you don't get that.
No.
You don't get that nowadays. And I honestly, if Cyberpunk is as big as I think it's going to be map-wise, I wouldn't expect not to pay for some DLC, to be honest. I feel like, even though as gamers we are extremely thankful that they gave us, free DLC in the past, don't sell yourselves short. Jesus.
Yeah, and I think that's, the guys at CD Projekt Red, they're not big companies where, they're going to go tough, this is how it is. This is a company that's willing to listen to their fan base and go, okay, we stuffed up, let's fix it. Or they're willing to go, okay, well, if you want a good game, you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer so we can fix it. You guys don't come after us with the lynch and everything and try and lynch us when it gets released broken.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that they deserve that respect from gamers and people in general that they do a good job. They've proved they can do a good job and release something that was absolutely amazing. So let's give them the time and the patience to get it done right. And hell, let's hope that I'm still again tempering my expectations, but God, I really hope this is good. I really do.
Well, that's speaking of other games that are generally good and I'm looking forward to is God of War Ragnarok is coming out. We don't know if it's next year or the year after, but God of War 2, the remake kind of thing, coming out on PS5 next year. So, and if you Cory Balrog, the director of that, he's a pretty solid dude. He's really passionate about it. One game of the year in 2018. I think that team there put a lot of work into it as well, and they delayed that for the first game for a little while as well because they knew it wasn't up to scratch. But it by holding off, it ended up being game of the year for 2018. So I kind of feel like God of War Ragnarok would be another one that's like, yeah, it's a thing, but don't expect it to come out anytime soon. We're just letting you know it's a thing, but don't expect it to be like next month or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing. Like, there's lots of games you could put that to. Like, we've been teased with like Elder Scrolls 6 for God since what, last year, the year before, and like they keep teasing, but then they come out in press conferences and they go, "Oh, when's this coming?" Oh, jeez, that's not even a thought at the moment.
It's kind of I feel like
okay, so why tease it then?
Well, it's
like
it's kind of the same like Dying Light 2, like just backtracking a little bit. Like Dying Light 2 is kind of the same thing where it got teased back in I think it was like 2013. It was rumored to be a thing, I think. And it's like what 7 years later, and we still don't have it.
It's one of those things. Like we're now in a position technologically where games and stuff are getting built a lot quicker into it, and people are wanting a higher standard of everything and different graphics and better looks, and want quests and everything in game to flow more dynamically, and everything. Definitely something that takes more time, and it'd be good to do that, but I don't like the whole teasing thing. Just be like, yep, we're slowly working it, or nah, we're not at the moment. That's not something on our horizon for the next 5 years.
I like it's one of those, like, I keep saying double-edged sword, but it's kind of the only analogy I can really think of. One of those things where like you want to get that thought out into gamers' minds to go, yes, there's a thing, there is a sequel coming, or there is a thing coming. It looks pretty awesome. We want you to think about it. Then they wait so many years, like Last of Us Part 2, for example, got announced in 2017, 2018. It was one back then anyway. So it got everyone hyped for it because they know it was coming. Everyone got hyped for it. Then they're like, oh, we don't know when it's coming. So they put out another teaser 2 years later. They're going, oh, just a reminder, this is a thing. So everyone's like, I cannot wait for it to come out. Game comes out, it gets massive backlash because of people were hyped up too much because they were expecting it to be the next biggest thing since Last of Us Part 1 was such a phenomenal game. And then they come out, they play through it all, and then everyone gets disappointed because it didn't turn out as everyone had hoped it to be. So it's like one of those things where like you want to get the hype out to get people to think about your game, but then at the same time it could also backfire because people hyped it up too much, and then it ends up becoming overhyped, and then everyone gets disappointed. Like perfect example was like No Man's Sky. Perfect example. Before that game came out, everyone was super hyped because it was the world of promises, and then it came out, and when it first came out, everyone was like, "This is shit," because this is nothing like you told us it would be.
Yeah, that's it. And like nowadays, if you go back and play No Man's Sky, it is fleshed out. It is something else now. It is actually a fair decent game. There's been lots of updates, lots of changes, lots of additions to what you can and can't do. So there's heaps of stuff you can do, base building and the like, which has really made it awesome. But yeah, definitely on release, it was nothing like what was promised, or what we thought was promised at least. Then so it's hard one, man. Like I get gauging the population's reaction on a game or like, you know, what they might want and things like that with little teasers. I get that. But there is a massive cult following for the Elder Scrolls franchise.
Yeah, and it's kind of been that way
There's never not going to be massive sales for an Elder Scrolls 6.
I mean,
look at it. Skyrim, for God's sake.
And the amount of people still
they
buying.
keep pushing that on every console.
And people are still buying it.
Still buying it.
2013 it came out, and it's on nearly every platform known to man.
And it's still getting play hours, man. It's still getting play hours. There's still people modding the hell out of it. There's still people building mods, new quest lines, everything for it.
Remember Todd Howard saying, like, the day we'll stop releasing Skyrim is when you guys stop buying it. That's what his response was.
Yeah, well, fair enough, man. Fair enough. They're still getting that many sales from it. I don't blame them.
They even had fun with that.
I don't blame them.
Was it Ian Peel? I think it was just Peel. No, Key. It was Key. Where he was in the Skyrim ad, and he's like, "It's now on my fridge. It's now on my Chromecast. It's now on my glasses."
That's right. I remember that.
Bethesda poking fun at their own thing, but it's kind of true. It's like, as long as people keep buying that game, they're gonna keep selling it, and I think that's why GTA 5 is still going strong, even though it came out in 2013. 7 years later, GTA 5 is still one of the top sellers that we sell. Like that, a lot of game companies or game retailers sell. GTA 5 is always at the top of the list, and GTA 5 is always getting DLC and always getting re-released because people just keep buying it.
Yep. But didn't they screw the in-game market in that game? And everyone's like, oh, it's because GTA, you know, is fucking, they're going to have a new release and everything like that. So they screwed the in-game market. That's just something I heard.
But GTA 5 was really good when it first came out. I really enjoyed it. But now it's just gone absolutely nonsensical. It's turned into Saints Row, basically.
But hey, Saints Row was amazing. That was just shoot 'em up nonsense. It was great.
See, that's what made Saints Row good, because it was the non-so-serious version of GTA, and GTA was the more mature, serious kind of game. And now
actually had a proper quest line, and
now it's just like, it seems like GTA has kind of lost its identity a little bit and just gone too nonsensical now. Like, you got like flying bikes now that can shoot things, and like jetpacks and alien.
Jetpacks I could see, because that's
they had it on GTA
thing,
before, so that's not a big deal. But now they got laser guns and all kinds of different shit, and it's like, what?
Yeah, they brought out the when I stopped playing, they brought out the strongholds or whatever, where you could get like armored cars and you were running massive gun shipments and everything like that. That was pretty cool. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's been too long for me to be like, know what's in it, to be honest.
So much so that they announced GTA 5 will be coming to next gen consoles as well. So we got on PS5 and it will be on Xbox Series X. Which got a lot of people upset at first because they thought it would be GTA 6, but it turns out now it's just GTA 5. And to put this in perspective, GTA 5 came out at the launch of PS4 and Xbox One, and now we're at the end of the cycle. GTA 5 is still a thing.
Oh, dude. Skyrim, bro. That was on my Xbox 360. Like, that's survived 3 generations of console. That game's never gonna die. It's like a plague.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that game, but shit.
Anyway, so we might move on to the next topic. Just
sounds good.
Sounds the half-hour mark. But anyway, so the next kind of question I wanted to throw to you as well is, with the next generation of console gaming, what would be the major thing that you'd like to see, or what things would you think that the consoles would do companies that would make the consoles most successful? Like, what do you think they would implement? The final push to make people buy the consoles for the generation.
I think Xbox has done it right, bro. To be honest, if Game Pass works on the new Xbox like it works on my PC, where I can go in and download any of the games on the Game Pass, and download it and play it and then go, yeah, no, I'm done with that one, uninstall, and then download a plethora more of games that are continually getting updated and rolling around. They're done. That's it. That's what you want as a gamer.
But I think, yeah.
When you're buying a console and you want a game, new releases, you want a game, all the games you either missed out on playing in the past that are now on Game Pass. That's what you want to do, and Xbox has done it right. If that's the way it works on their new Xbox console, damn, they've done it right. As far as PS goes, like I said, I find it hard to want to buy an Xbox when it's going to be on my PC. And the only reason I buy a PlayStation is for the releases on PlayStation. So that, and I own every single PS console. So there's that, I suppose. Nostalgia.
And I think that's going to be the interesting thing on this generation, because I think Xbox is going to make it very difficult for Sony this time around. With Xbox having Game Pass on both PC and Xbox, but also having Project xCloud coming out, where you're allowed to stream all your games to your Android tablets and mobile phones and stuff like that on the go.
Yeah, as long as your mobile can. I was looking into the mobile stuff. That's going to be cool, man. That's actually going to be really cool. And it's also going to push mobile phones and tablets to the next level, I think, as well. Like big companies like, our big providers, if they're going to want to keep up with the trend, they're going to have to start pushing out some seriously technologically good phones. Jesus, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, well, you can kind of see that happening. Like, your phones are getting smarter and smarter, and like some of the phones now are actually better than most laptops you can buy. So,
I know, that's the scary thing, dude. Like, have you seen some of the Razer phones that are coming out?
Yeah, they're like impressive.
Dude, what the hell? And like, from the standpoint of which console versus the other one, I'm actually interested to see how they behave. I've heard about the overheating of the PS5s in stores and stuff in America, so I'll be interested to see if that's an actual thing or whether it's just, hate hype. I want to see how they run and how well they work, how good a graphics they can pump out. Like, I know there's been, people have done the what do you call them? The tests and stuff for their YouTube channels and everything like that, but I want to see the ones that come in the box to people's houses. That's the ones I want to see.
It's interesting that you mention that, because they talk about the PS5 overheating. But what they didn't tell you is that the one that was the ones that are overheating were at Best Buy. They were in a glass cabinet with no ventilation at all.
Well, I actually saw the pictures. So the ones in the glass cabinets, they're not plugged in. They're display models. The ones that are running the screen are the ones behind, underneath the screen in the case. And they've got two fans, one input, one exhaust. So I saw pictures of that, and I was like, well, technically, yeah, that should be enough. But at the same time, I suppose it all depends on the temperature that case is really getting inside there. So it's just one of those things, like, really need the full details. I saw pictures of it behind so the TV lifted up, and then behind that they had a door. They opened that, and that's where the actual one that was plugged into the TV was. The one in the glass case is just display, so you can see what it looks like.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I think it really depends. Like I said, I really want to see what they can actually do, what they can and can't do, really, like how they behave.
It would be interesting too to find out, all the updates post launch as well. Like, it was only this morning I was looking into more of the PS5, and the interesting thing is people that did reviews said there was there's a tab in PS5. You go into it that says PS3, but you click on it and there's like nothing there at the moment. So you can't help but wonder, like, is Sony actually going to do backwards compatibility with PS3 and make it a future update to bring it out to add PS3 support? Then they need to bring out an update for the SSD kind of drama at the moment, because people are finding out that the PS5 only actually has 600 gigabytes of storage after the OS and that. So people are like, we're going to run out of storage real quick.
That's a bad look, bro.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
Well,
that's where streaming your games is going to have to come in. That is the future of streaming your games to save hard drive space is a big thing. I think that's definitely going to have to come in. And for consoles, that's going to be a big one, because they're not as upgradable as PCs are. I think that that if Sony does backwards compatibility, that's their little chip, dude. That's their in here in the fight between Xbox and Sony, Microsoft and Sony, because Microsoft have got this in the bag as far as I'm concerned with the whole Game Pass working as well as it does. So yeah, I think it really depends on what they're going to do now. Like, I suppose Sony could do something like it, but they haven't got a lot of the big name titles that Xbox does currently. Like, they just bought Bethesda and everything else. I think that they've got a bit more of a backing here to really push their product over the line rather than Sony here. So backwards compatibility is something that gamers have been screaming for ages, especially on PlayStation networks, because a lot of those are nostalgic.
And I think that's Microsoft's really hitting the nostalgia factor. I think that would be one of the only reasons why I would buy an Xbox, is because of the pure backwards compatibility, being able to get old games that I remember and really enjoy, but I can't get it on PC. So
yeah, I suppose, but realistically, having a port through and an emulator run in the background of your Game Pass on PC, not that hard to program in, to be honest with you. Like, I could see that happening.
Well, it would be cool if Project X style.
We can also, yeah, definitely even stream it off of a server that's running an emulator software to emulate it from Xbox through. I don't know how they would do it. I'm not a tech genius, but I'm sure that the bright minds over at Microsoft could easily do that. Look, hell, we've got all of the Halo already on Game Pass. All the Halo franchises on Game Pass pretty much now.
Yeah.
So we can already relive some of the glory days of the Xbox 360, you know what I mean?
I think that's where Microsoft's really going to make it difficult for Sony. It's really hitting people with the nostalgia factor, and it was pretty ballsy for Microsoft to come out and buy Bethesda and that, and I think Sony's retaliation was to, buy Insomniac Games, which is like, okay, cool, but they're nowhere near as big as Bethesda.
Not even close. Like, for me personally, not even close, but I'm a massive Bethesda fan. Really, truly.
The only way they could turn that around is, like, if Sony turned around and was like, yeah, well, we're going to buy EA or something. Like, it'd be like something like that.
Yeah, but even then, EA, oh god, they'd have to restructure the whole of EA to make it worth it, dude. I find myself not playing EA games these days just because I played all of their games already, just with a different skin.
Yeah, I really don't know what's happening with EA lately. Like, yeah, they got the Star Wars license, but most of the games they've been bringing out lately are just been awful. Full of microtransactions, full of loot boxes, graphical glitches, reskins of old stuff that they just keep reskinning, and the disaster of new IPs like Anthem. They're trying to bring that out, and that ended up being just a glorious mess.
I actually had high hopes for that game too.
I did too. Like, I thought it,
made me take a back foot.
For me, I thought at first I was like pretty hyped for a high fall for Anthem, because I was like, new IP, could be a whole new experience, could be a game to really get into. I mean, who doesn't like flying mechs and stuff? So looks pretty dope.
Yeah, I know. How cool did it
look? Pretty cool. The trailers,
that was like the coolest part.
Trailers are cool. It's like, who doesn't like flying around in a mech that makes you like feel like Iron Man? And then you play it and you're like, oh, this is just a hitbox. So repeat thing. So it's like,
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was nothing that we'd hoped it could have lived up. It could have lived up to something absolutely great, but it would require a lot.
Just
of
had
work.
no character or charm, and I think that was the problem. Like, yeah, I think what would make it successful is, eventually when they bring out that big update for Anthem, the Anthem 2.0, whether they keep hinting about, would be for them to flesh out the story a bit more, flesh out the characters a bit more, and just find a way to make the gameplay fun. I think that's where games like Destiny and that do it really well, is where it's not just shooting things, it's all about, the backstory, the lore, and then mixing up the gameplay every now and then, so making it all about teamwork, or then changing it to PvP and things like that, like mixing up the gameplay enough that it keeps people coming back to keep playing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I I feel like it would be good to see some change from EA, but whether it happens or not is going to be a different story. But I think what I really can't wait for is the day where we see things like Xbox and the PlayStation and that open their doors up to indies. Like, properly open their doors up to indies. Not indies they approve, just indie people having like their own marketplace where they can flesh their games out properly, like you got on PC.
Well, yeah.
That would make a difference. Like, man, we go to PAX, we see all the indie developers doing their thing, getting to talk with them, run through their games and stuff. There's a lot of gold there, dude. There's a lot of gold there.
Yeah.
I think that, it'd be good to see that on console. I think that'd be a great step for console. Something, obviously, that's definitely not on the books at the moment.
Well,
because, why the hell would they?
I'd love that. I mean, Xbox used to do it in the old, I think it was 360 days, where they had the Summer of Arcade kind of thing, where it was always...
Yeah, that was cool.
All summer long, they were releasing indie games, so doing a cheaper discounted price, because Microsoft would cover the difference. And go, this week these couple of days we're talking about Spelunky, or this week we're talking about like Hotline Miami or something like that. That's where you got to find some really like golden gems in there that you would never really considered playing before.
Yeah, no, and I think that's something that PC players get that console don't. Like, look at Steam; it's full of indie developers, new people bringing out gear. There's got test runs that they do for free, betas and alphas and everything, and that's definitely something that console players don't get to see, which would have been interesting with the Steam console, actually. But yeah, anyway, just an off-topic thought.
Yeah, and I think that the only thing that Sony's really got going for them this generation is purely exclusives. Like, I think, but that's where it's also making it hard because, like, Sony first came out with PlayStation Plus, which was similar to Microsoft's Xbox Live. Gold Live, they had it called back then. And then, Sony was like, how can we get people to, really take up PlayStation Plus? I know, let's make it so we give them free games every month. That's where Microsoft was like, oh shit, okay, well, I guess we'll do the same with games with gold. And then, Sony's like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting, we'll leave it there, stalemate. And Xbox is like, we'll one-up them, we'll make Game Pass, and we'll just give them a whole bunch of free games. And then Sony...
Yep, they just went... They just looked at the TV, what was happening with TV, dude. They went, hell, Netflix, Stan, shit,
Netflix,
all of that.
Let's make a Netflix for games.
Let's make a game. Yep, and they fucking did. And it works, man. It works well.
Yeah, and then, and then they had all that... had that all happen, and then, Sony turned around with PlayStation 5 launch, and they were like... here's the PlayStation Plus collection. Here's 20 or so games that you can play straight up on your PS5. And there's like a lot of games like, yeah, that's cool, but most of the games you've given us we've already played. Like, it's not like anything new.
Yeah, that's the problem. And like, for sure, the Game Pass is kind of like that. I scroll through there and I'm like, oh yeah, I've played a lot of these already. But it's a big difference in what they're doing, though, you know what I mean?
I think that's what really seals the deal for Game Pass. Is just like, Gears of War 5 when that first came out, it appeared on Game Pass, I think it was like 3 or 4 days earlier than its actual release. So that really incentivized people.
Yeah, for pre-download. I remember
so everyone
that.
was like, oh shit, I can play Gears 5 without having to buy it, and it's 3 days earlier? Like, what?
Yep. Yeah, pre-download it and get ready for the drop. That was the shit, dude. I think, yeah, I'm with you. Unless Sony pulls something big, I think Xbox has won this gen for the moment. They're definitely leading this race.
Yeah, and
they are lengths ahead.
That's why I think it'll be interesting to, I think they're going to shoot, I think this is the part where Microsoft's going to kind of shoot themselves in the foot. Like, if they turn around all of a sudden we're like, we're going to backtrack and say, Halo Infinite's Xbox only. It's not coming to PC. I think a lot of people would be very upset with Xbox.
I think that's a very dumb move because Halo's been on PC since the freaking dawn of time, for God's
I
sake.
would like to think of like,
We played it in bloody high
if
school.
it was like exclusive kind of thing to try and combat Sony, because I think the only thing that Sony's got going for them right now is purely exclusive. That's all they've got going really for them at the moment is like, Spider-Man Miles Morales is on PS5 only. Last of Us Part 3, if they make it, will only be on PS5. Horizon Forbidden West is only on PS5. Days Gone, that sequel, will only be on PS5. Ghost of Tsushima will only be on PS5. So purely for them, they're just slogging it out of the park with exclusives. But it's like, how long does exclusives like seal the deal for people before people start to go, keep your Ghost of Tsushima 2 or whatever. I'm gonna go play Game Pass.
Yeah, I feel, and realistically, most gamers are going to get both. If they can afford it, most people get both consoles. You walk into most houses, they get both consoles, and they usually get one console with the games they want to play now, and then when the game they want comes out, they go buy the other console so they can play it. Pretty much. And then they trade them in for the new consoles when it happens, or for new games or whatever.
I could
That's what I find.
Yeah, no, I think you're kind of right. I mean, you could also have people that wait for sales like Black Friday sales or Boxing Day sales and things like that, where they're just waiting for the console to drop to a reasonable price where they're going, I'm gonna spare like $300. I'm gonna go buy it now.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very rare that you'll find a lot of gamers will buy things at launch. A lot of them will wait. It's only like the dedicated that will want to get it at launch.
Yeah, I find that you're right. It's usually dedicated gamers who buy things at launch, and realistically, most of them are buying consoles and stuff or hanging out for consoles and stuff that have a certain look to them. All the special ones for the certain game style that they like, like Star Wars, or much like, PS4, I bought mine for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So I've got all the pretty Destiny 2 ink all over it, so I think that's probably more how it's going to go. If I was going to choose a console, I think it'd have to be, even though I'm not going to buy one because I've got PC, I think Xbox on this one.
See, that's very interesting. Like, I didn't think I would come to that conclusion, but
like because I'm probably going to buy a PS5 because I own all the other PlayStation consoles, but I probably won't play it. My wife will definitely play it. I probably won't because I've got my PC and it's got all the games that I play on it. You know what I mean? Like, I might play 1 or 2 games on the PS5 if I decide to buy them. Like Ghosts or Part 3 of, if it comes out, for fuck's sake, Last of Us or whatever.
Well, see, that's...
So, I don't know.
For me, I'm going to say probably the opposite. I'm going to get the PS5. I actually already got one. On pre-order.
Oh, la-di-da.
Just a flex in there. But anyway, I've gotten a PS5 purely because the exclusives I've found from my personal experience and what I play. I play a lot of story-driven games, and unfortunately, Xbox just doesn't deliver on story for me as much. Like, there's still some golden gems in there, but for me, I really find that a lot of the really good story-driven games like Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding, which is not really a PlayStation exclusive anymore, but it was at launch. Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man. For me, I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so for me, that's kind of incentive.
Oh, yuck.
So,
yuck.
So all those kind of things, that for me, there's a bit of an incentive for me to get a PS5, and I wouldn't mind having an Xbox. Like, I'll probably will get one eventually. But for now, I kind of just weigh up the games that are coming out. I'm kind of looking at it and going, well, I can get it on PC, so for me, there's not much incentive for me to get an Xbox right now.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I will probably get a PS5. It won't be anytime soon. I'm not going to buy one at release. I've got no need to. But as a vote, if I didn't have a PC and I knew that I could get heaps of games off of Game Pass, if I knew that it was only subscription like Netflix, which I'm probably going to already have on my console, then that's going to be the one because of my game taste and my I chop and change games in a heartbeat, that's probably what I'm going to go with. And again, that's because the exclusives for PS don't really tickle my fancy currently.
Oh, okay.
They probably will once, I see some gameplay of one and I'll be like, oh, hell, that looks cool. But for now, that's definitely how I'd be.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different situation. Like, for me, it'd be a bit different if I didn't have my gaming PC and I just had to choose one or the other. It'd make it very difficult. It'd put me in a position that would be very difficult because I'd be like, well, if I go Xbox, I'm getting like thousands of games thanks to Game Pass, backwards compatibility and all that, so that's pretty dope. And then I'd be looking at the other hand going, the PS5 gives me all these exclusives, and these are the kind of games I like to play, like a lot of story-driven games. So it's like, for me, it'd be very hard for me to choose if I didn't have PC already.
Yeah, understandably though, because that's your style of games that you like, and I know that you like the disgusting Spider-Man. So
it's pretty dope. It's one of the best Spider-Man games. It's the Dawn of Time. So shut up.
I just don't like. If we're going to talk Marvel and comic books and everything like that, I hate Spider-Man.
What?
Just outright hate Spider-Man.
Oh, hell no.
And Superman. That's deep sea.
Used to be cool.
You know what I mean?
Why are you even on this podcast?
I used to be cool. I'm sorry, bro. Sorry. But anyway,
facts with Charlie and Mitch.
Yeah, we've got a rift now, and it's PS5 v Xbox.
Well, welcome to the first and last episode of the Game Show.
With me in it.
Anyway, guys, we're getting close to the hour mark, so we might as well tie it up there. Let us know what you think. What console are you choosing for the next generation? What kind of game are you looking forward to? Let us know in the comment section down below, or you can message us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NeoAia. That's NeoAeia. Or you can tweet at us with the hashtag TheGamersShow and add us at NeoAia, NeoAeia, with your answers. Or if you simply just want to drop a comment down below on YouTube, this will also be available. Well.
Yeah, and if you're so inclined and feel like gaming with us, we do have our Discord community and Facebook communities where you can hit us up and join and just come play games. We have lots of people playing all different kinds of games currently. It's a lot of Among Us, a lot of multiplayer games as well going on. So yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I've been Charlie and I've been here with Mitch.
It was good to chat with you. Catch you all next time.
As always, we'll see you guys on the next level.